13 with me, Greg, and
me, Lee. Hi, we finally made it. How you doing, mate?
I'm all right, thank you, my friend. You might be able to see that I have just the lightest bead of perspiration as I've been sat here trying to understand technology. What a bind. So, and how are you, by the way, before I give the punters some
I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad we got in. I thought, as time was ticking over, I thought we were going to have to abandon tonight.
I similarly had started to wonder how to word that apology, but we're here. So chin chin, one and all. I think this is now well earned. Mr. Drew sent Lee and I a link a couple of days ago in advance of this little gathering, and not one of the four of us thought neither Lee nor I own this stream. It's going to need someone who is an actual studio rat and has the keys to open the studio.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I've just texted Paul. Paul had a bit of a fret about the fact that he's in Germany trying to schmooze with other YouTubists. And then he said that he couldn't log on and he couldn't get through to James. I text James the link, rang James up, he let us in, and lo, just 13 minutes late, we begin. Bingo, what a fiasco. Would you, Adam and Eve it? There we go. Well, tradition has it that we say, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Well, I've been off this week, off the day job this week, just on a bit of holiday, and went away with the missus for a few days. That was good. But now I'm back to the grindstone here. I'm in album finishing mode.
Right.
I've given myself a self-imposed deadline of getting the audio and all the artwork delivered to the record company by the end of September. So it's all full steam ahead. So it's listening. You kind of mix as you go with these processes anyway. With these days with Pro Tools and Logic and whatever software package you use. But it's kind of putting the finishing touches to those mixes and extra bits of guitar that I want to put in and extra bits of keyboards here and there and correcting wrong notes and all that kind of stuff. And so it's a bit of a, I think it was Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater always used to say, albums are never finished, they're just abandoned.
Yeah.
And, there will come a time when I just, I'll reach sort of 25th, 26th of September and I'll just have to go, look, it is done. All right, it's done. Let's just master it and get it off.
Fair play. So
what have you been up to then?
Well, hang on. This record's quite significant. For those of us that were watching on last week, there was a minor crisis of your artwork go-to contractor has washed his hands of this business. What's the update there? Have you got an alternative organised?
I have, I had a few offers actually. This is a great thing about not only just progressive rock music circles, but I guess this happens in all kinds of music circles. Really, you just kind of, put your feelers out to a few people, and everybody just comes back with suggestions and offers of help. And have you tried so and so? Have you tried so and so? Or I literally got people coming at me with offers, saying, I can do it for this price, I can do it for this price, and here's an example of my work. And, anyway, so long story short, yes, I have settled on somebody, and we've agreed a concept, and we've agreed a price, and it's all going ahead. Yeah.
Excellent. And he's agreed to get it done before the end of September.
He has, yeah. Well, to be honest, he was really keen. I kind of first got in contact with him maybe Thursday, Friday last week. We had a quick video call and just spoke about concepts for the album, lyrical themes, that kind of stuff. And he just kind of set a few parameters in terms of, do you want photographs or do you want sort of arty style appearance to the artwork, painted kind of thing, or and I gave him all those sort of pointers that what I wanted. Gave him the album title and all this sort of stuff. And literally within the end of that working day, he'd sent me a proposal through for a front cover.
Tremendous.
It was really good. I mean, he works on this stuff all the time, so he's obviously got like a stock that he can pull from, But so I think he's a relatively quick worker, which is great, because I'm up against it's a self-imposed deadline, I mean, I definitely want to get this released before Christmas. I mean, the record company did say to me, you know, we don't want to be in a situation where we're putting an album out on the 20th of December. That's the last thing we want.
Sure. Sure.
So they kind of said, as long as we can, you know, they need 6 weeks from when I submit the artwork and the audio to actually receiving back manufactured CDs. So, so I think if I can get it off to them for late September, they should get CDs out and have an official release date of late November, I hope.
Which means we'd still be able to ship worldwide to the Studio Rats Massive. Have a happy proggy Christmas.
Oh, indeed, absolutely.
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff. That's good to hear. I'm glad it's going in the right direction. Good enough. Well, look, should we jump in, because we're already pushing quarter past. Let's see where we're at. So I'll drive for what it's worth. The folks are going to have to excuse the fact that we can't put the comments up on the screen, unfortunately. So I'm just going to read them, but I guess you'll be able to see them in the bottom of your YouTube screen. Whilst we're on the subject of YouTube, I know it's neither Paul nor James. It's just, however, if you would like this stream, it does help the old algorithm monkeys stay calm instead of ripping the boys to shreds. They work so very hard at all this. Give them a little thumbs up. Cost you nothing.
As Nico McBrain from Iron Maiden says, you got the good-looking ones this week.
yeah, there we go. Next week. Oh, dear. Right, so we'll get going. So Music Git is in first up this week. Hi, Rats. I wanted to ask if you could recommend me a guitar with dual P90 pickup that comes with a tremolo, mid-range pricing. Now, whilst I was setting myself up for a bit of news and such like, I clocked this because Music Git got in quite early. And the first thing that sprang to mind for me, I imagine, is the first thing that sprang to mind for you. What are you thinking off the top of your head, Lee?
I'd have to do some research, but I wonder whether Squire maybe do something.
I didn't even go that far. The first thing that jumped to my mind was Gretsch. So what I'm going to attempt to do here is share one of the screens, if it will allow it. So if I do that, that one, can anybody see that on screen?
I can't see anything.
Can't see a thing. Dear me. That's not...
It's going well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. What about that? Can you see that one? No. Dear. What a terrible bind. All right. Well, I'm going to stop sharing then and simply say that, now that I've lost it, the Gretsch Electromatic Pristine Limited Center Block in dark cherry metallic has both two P90s and a Bigsby attached. And that comes in at 780 quid as near as makes the difference. I can't tell from your comment, Music Git, where you are in the world. But Gretsch was the first thing that sprang to mind for me there. Similarly, they do a Electromatic Jet with two P90s, single cut. So essentially, it looks like a Lester. Two P90s, again, got a Bigsby on it, but with the body controls of a Gretsch, the classic Gretsch setup. And then, having thought about it a little bit longer, and after I'd started my first beer, I thought, well, hang on, what about the Albert Lee? So Sterling by Music Man, again, it's 800 quid. In relative terms, it looks like that classic Music Man shape. But that's essentially the guitar that I saw him playing in Huntingdon about 5-6 years ago when he did a masterclass up the road from us.
Right. So it's not got a trem, but Squire do something called a Paranormal.
Of course. Yeah. So options there. And how much is that, Lee? Ish.
350.
350. So I'd class that as kind of lower price range rather than mid. And then the last one that I clocked was a Reverend Club King with a Bigsby, with two P90s. And on the basis of having played Paul's Reverend a few years back, they make lovely guitars. The fact that Greg Koch plays them at regular intervals suggests that they can be trusted. And that comes in £1 less than 1,000. So hopefully Music Git, some options for you to investigate there. Yeah. Next up, if I can get this screen back on, Lefty frets, lefty frets. There we go. Hello, everyone. I just purchased my Tonex One pedal, and I'm interested in purchasing some quality amp packs from you. Do I just need the Tonex software to run your amp packs? And he continues. The only reason I ask is another site I was going to purchase from. His are all packaged in another software called WinRAR that you have to download, and I'm not wanting to do that. Thanks from Scooby. WinRAR, lefty frets or Scooby, is just a compression package. So if you were to open a WinRAR file, you would find inside it the amp captures that you are looking to purchase.
However, Tonex amp captures are tiny, tiny weeny. I can't believe anybody would want to package them up, really. But
yeah, next question, doesn't it?
But you just drag and drop them into your presets on the Tonex software.
Yes. So in short, to answer the first question, Lefty, you do just need the Tonex software. So when you download the packs from the Studio Rats website, just drop it straight into that software. That's all you need. Nothing to worry about there. Hope that sorts it for you. Nabs, good evening, Nabs. Hello, rats and all. Looking forward to the podcast with a cold beer. To cool my innards in this seemingly non-ending wet and hot weather. Yes, it has been feisty here in East Anglia today. And then about 2 hours ago, the farmer whose field we live next door to decided now is the time to start harvesting. So we had to close all of the windows and doors and keep all of the hot air in to prevent the kids and their hay fever going. But there we go. So yeah, good evening, Naps. Daniel Ely, good evening, substitute rats, and a good evening to you. While the rats away, the cats will play. Wishing you a good show. I thank you. Beautiful sunny day, 29 degrees here in North Carolina. After tropical storm Debbie last week. I hope.
I heard about that.
Did she cause too much damage?
Yeah.
I'm not. I didn't read anything about that. Hope everything's all right where you are there. Jeff's on. Good morning from the colonies down under. It's the Larry and Lee show with not a rat in the house. I hope everybody's well and happy and excited. We are. I think we're well now, Jeff, that we've managed to get on and get up and running. There we go. Farid H. Evening all. Good evening to you, Farid.
Evening, Farid.
Ben Allmark. Good evening, gentlemen. Hope you're doing well. Cheers, folks. Hello. Pet's in. Come on, the B team. Hey up, Pet. Nice to see you, man.
Come on, the B team.
Andy Prime. Come on, Lee. The wife snoring in the sofa is deafening.
We made it. We made it.
Yeah,
get your questions in. Let's have some chat. Come on.
Yeah, there we are. So a couple of responses from us about what's going on. Paul is doing his best. Am I the only one that hears the Tenacious D song Lee every time he's on? There we are.
I've always heard about this. I've never seen the film. I've never listened to any of the music, so I don't know. People say it to me all the time, though. I've got no idea what they're talking about.
There's a bit of homework for you this week. You're in amongst your mastering processes.
In amongst mixing,
yeah. Another comment from Lefty Frets here. Just once again asking about the Tonex downloads.
Yeah. Drag and drop.
Incredibly straightforward. Neither Lee nor I can comprehend why that other website that you've been to has decided they need to compress the files. Hardly worth it. Just go to the Studio Rats website and you will be fine. Where are we up to? Jeff, it's 9 minutes past 5 on Thursday morning here. I have nowhere else to be, so I'm happy to wait. Brilliant. Thank you, Jeff. Andy Prime is channel hopping to PMT for a bit of Geordie banter. You don't need to go anywhere for Geordie banter. We've got Pet Moxie here, mate. Stay where you are. Scrunge, this was an interesting comment, Scrunge. Just see Chapman Guitars, only one line now, which is made in India, which means those high-end guitars that are UK made are going to sink in value dreadfully.
Yeah, I said that the day we covered them here on when we spoke about them. I just thought anyone who buy, they'll end up just giving those away. I think if they haven't sold them, they'll end up just giving them away. I think as promo things to artists or specialist customers or whatever. I briefly watched Rob Chapman. I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with watching Rob Chapman videos. I tend to watch them for about the first 3 or 4 minutes, and I just can't stand him. Unfortunately, there's just something about his his delivery on a YouTube video that kind of puts me off. But yeah, I did see that his company has now moved lock, stock and barrel to an Indian factory. That would be interesting. He did say that there was a lot of other companies there who were in the same factory who were having guitars built. So, you know, the factory obviously know what they're doing. Yeah, I don't know if you're a fan of Chapman Guitars. I guess he's probably hoping that you'll just buy one of the India-built ones, and you know, because maybe the fact that they're now built in a different factory and they might have a different look and feel about them slightly. I don't massively think he's going to break new ground with customers. I don't think really. They keep doing this thing where they tinker with the names of lines, and you know, he did make an interesting comment about that they weren't going to be doing any kind of budget guitars anymore.
Right.
So that was an interesting comment. That's as far as I got in the video. And I switched it off. What's something else?
I'm intrigued just looking on the Andertons website, as I tend to do of an evening, on their deals page, at the vast reductions that they've got on the pre-2024 lines. Yeah, just trying to make space, I guess. But yeah, it will be very interesting to see what occurs with those UK-based ones. And Ben Allmark suggests, not that I would know, but I would guess that the made in UK ones would hold, if not rise in value. And I'd be surprised, Ben, just by virtue of it's Chapman rather than a Fender, a Gibson, or any other, you know, established historic brand, as it were. I can't really see that happening myself. Yeah. And then we've got a variety of little Spinal Tap references, including Dave Ambrose. There's just a little jog to get to the stage, which I'm finding hilarious. I do. As a student, I think I probably on average watched that film at least once a week for 3 years. I adore it. I've got 3 different versions: the 1, 2, and 3 DVD version, and also the paperback script. I think they're genius. Can't wait for the new film.
I remember watching it years ago with a mate, and my mate actually thought that it was real.
Yes, yeah. First time I ever saw it as a kid, as it were. It was on Channel 4, hopping. I thought, I don't really get it. But yeah, a few years later.
He said, "Well, I've heard of this band. I've heard of them." And I said, "Well, yeah," but it was entirely made up, fictitious, you know, for a film. No, but he said, "I've heard of this band. I've seen it."
Wonderful. I don't know if I've bored people with it before, but about 10 years ago, I was at Music Bank in South London, rehearsing to do I can't remember if it was Cats or The Sound of Music in Cyprus, and we took a break after the first little run in the morning. And I walked out into the corridor that separated the 2 rehearsal rooms on the floor we were on, and there were lots of Marshall boxes with cabs and heads. And I looked a bit closer, and it said "Dummy Head, Spinal Tap." Interesting, thought I. So I walked around the corner and stuck my head against the window, and lo and behold, it was Spinal Tap the year that they were at Glastonbury, rehearsing with Jarvis Cocker and the miniature blow-up Stonehenge. Yeah, wonderful. So I waited again until lunchtime and then just went flying in there and got autographs. Everybody except Derek Small, sadly. Otherwise, the piece of paper that I've got would have been quite fun.
He was still trapped in the pod thing, wasn't he?
Yeah. Wonderful. Where are we? Chris O'Connor is saying, "I can sense the tension and panic behind the scenes." There was definitely an element of that at this end, Chris. Lee, ever the professional, was pretty cool about it all. But
I was just sat here. All right, guys, let me know when it's live.
Yeah. The messages coming from Lee were the calm in the storm of me swearing at Paul in Germany and hoping that Jivey would pick up the phone and start the stream. But there we go. And then Bogeyman suggesting that we were just going to do it all via the chat. Thankfully, we don't have to worry about that, mate. Shep Shepherd, good evening from a warm Lincolnshire. Good evening to you,
Hello,
Shep. Chris is back. I'd rather they be late than my girlfriend. Well done, Christopher. Nectarius, hello, good evening. Evening, gents. I've clinched a deal for a Fender Bassbreaker 30R an MXR M300 reverb, and £700 in exchange for a Morgan RCA35. But my wife says I don't need one. Please convince her that I do. It's not really a case of needing to be convinced. It's a simple matter of fact, Nectarius's wife. It's a requirement, though that deal, great deal, it should be followed through. Please, please don't worry your pretty little head about it, dear. There we are. And he's followed that up with, how do you balance mentally gear you need versus gear you want, but not necessarily need?
I don't think we need anything, do we, really? If we've got one guitar and one amp or one modeler, that's all you need, isn't it?
I
probably get shot down for saying that. But anyway.
Well, quite. I didn't get a pedal until I'd been playing for maybe 4 years. And I went from the little gorilla thing that was about that big, had 3 knobs on it, sounded like wasp in a jam jar, to a crate solid state 2-channel thing with reverb. The reverb was pretty much always at 8. There were no mids on the distorted channel. There was a lot of bass. In a mix, it sounded terrible. I didn't know that at the time, but thinking back to the noise that I was creating, shocking. But that was the only amp that I had for 2.5, 3 years, because the Gorilla immediately went when that arrived. And then I got a wah. And then, you know, that was the gateway drug. From there, it was on you go. But I agree with Lee. If you can make noise, you can make music. You don't need all of the stuff. There again, you could go down the route, Nectarius, of stick the card that you're going to use in frozen water in the freezer. If by the time it has defrosted, you still want it, fair enough. Or sleep on it. At least sleep on it. But what are you actually going to do with it? What questions are you asking yourself with regard to that gear? What is it? Is it just a case of, I want it because I think it will be an inspiration machine, or I want it to perform a very specific task? If you can justify the purchase through answering those questions, I guess it's viable. So related, or vaguely related then, is there any piece of gear, Lee, which you used in the creative process of this album, which generated a song? Or was it a case of, I have lyrics and then music gets fit around it? Or is it, I've got a riff, I've got a lick, I've got an idea musically that I'm then going to build a song out of? Was there any piece of gear that was the...
No, not really. I mean, the most useful songwriting piece of gear I have is probably Pro Tools.
Okay.
You know, because that gives you your blueprint for a song.
Sure.
And no, lyrics always come last for me. The music is first, and I leave gaps in the music for the lyrics to go. So, you know, I know how long a verse is going to be, where a chorus is going to be, that kind of stuff. People might be shocked to hear this, but I write an awful lot of my stuff on piano.
Okay.
You know, when it comes to song structures and the way chords work together and all that kind of stuff, a lot of stuff is mapped out on piano. You know, unless I'm specifically writing something which is heavy, and then I'll get the guitar out and stuff. But I usually just use the guitar that's got the newest strings on. Which is a terrible thing to say. You know, now I've got the Sir in my possession, but I have used the Sir for most of this album. But having said that, I've been doing quite a lot of, you know, finishing touches and solos and stuff on this, the Harley Benton. So. You know, it's just whatever, you know, it is to hand at the moment. You know, it's got the freshest strings on. But Pro Tools is in answer to your question.
Yeah. What about this then? The aux pedal or the Boss GT1000, isn't it? The core.
Yep.
Is it the core that you've got?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any one sound out of that where you sat down and thought, ooh, that's the one, or that's generated some spore of an idea?
Yeah, I tend to. So I've got the GT1000 core programmed up with about half a dozen sounds that I use live. You know, so there's like a clean, there's a pushed clean, there's a really overdriven crunch, there's a lead sound, you know, and a few other sort of special effects. And those are my core sounds that I've been using for the album, really. So what you hear me play live is what you're going to hear on the album.
Right.
So yeah, and it's more about capturing the idea quickly,
Right.
rather than thinking, oh right, okay, so I need this specific IR and I need this amount of gain and I need this amount of reverb. You just go, give me a sound. You just twiddle a few knobs. Yeah, or I get my pushed clean sound. I need a bit more gain. Just wind up the gain. Yeah, that sounds great. Get the idea down quick.
Away you go.
Before it disappears out of the head.
Yeah, fair play. I'm still kind of Nectarius's question really interests me. The idea of gear you want, gear you need. The last time I sat down with the Boss Katana head, I started reproducing some sounds that Pete Thorne had made with the Boss Mega delay thing, the Eddie Van Halen.
Oh yeah.
Dual delay job, and I started thinking, well, there's an awful lot of power in this katana. You've got to be able to get somewhere near, and indeed I did. And then, strangely enough, a very hair metal 80s riff fell out of my head. And I find that a new bit of gear, some different sound, will start the creative juices flowing. So if you are, again, I'm just trying to find ways that we can justify to your missus that you should be spending the money next time. If you're at a creative brick wall, then again, you absolutely should buy that gear. Anyway, enough of that. I've meandered on. Mendel's used my line. I can see the studio cats are at play while the rats are away. Good evening, Mendel Rocks. Ryan 9 Lee, thoughts on Eastman OMs, please.
Eastman, I'm gonna have to look that up, I'm afraid. Eastman.
As am I. I've got no idea. I'm gonna go
Eastman. What's it? MOs.
OMs.
OMs.
There's no. Oh, it's acoustic.
Acoustic guitars. Right. Okay.
Model, of course.
I've not heard of these.
Yeah, there's.
But they seem to do. Well, the price range, they seem to go from sort of
bargain basement to
there's one at 269 quid right up to over 1,000.
Yeah, just clocked on here at Richard's Guitar, an E40 OM at £2,252.
That'll be the one Paul buys.
Yeah, of course. James wouldn't turn it because it's got binding. Oh, yeah.
To be honest, I don't. So I use an acoustic guitar just for recording only. I don't play live with an acoustic. I don't even songwrite on an acoustic, which I know a lot of people do. So I just use an acoustic guitar just to add kind of textures to recordings that I'm doing. And for years and years and years, I just used a really cheap Westfield that I had. I don't even think Westfield are a guitar brand anymore, but it was an acoustic guitar that I bought from a shop for about 150 quid, and I thought, well, that will do. I have since bought a Martin, so I've got a Martin now, but it is a budget Martin, so it's the bottom of the range one. But I thought, because I'm not gigging with it and I don't use it an awful lot, I'm not going to spend an awful lot of money on it. But the one I did buy records really well, and that's all I need it to do, really. So I guess it depends what you need it for. I think if you're gigging with an acoustic, you need to think about what kind of gigs you're doing. Certainly if you're doing solo shows, if you're just sitting on a bar stool in a wine bar, you can probably invest a little bit of money in buying a decent acoustic. If you're playing festival stages where there's the possibility your gear could get trashed quite easily, I wouldn't spend an awful lot of money on an acoustic. So it depends what you're using it for, what you need it for. But yeah, they certainly seem to do a good range of guitars. I'm sure they're very good.
Yep, fair play. Aaron Short Music. I'm at the airport. I hope you have a good flight, Aaron. Looking for some good acoustics in Germany. Well, Paul is already there. Hopefully he'll have earmarked a few for you already, Aaron.
Is it this coming weekend then, this Gear Street?
He's there right now.
Yeah, Paul's there. I think he travelled there today, though, didn't he? So
speak of the devil. Hang on a second, everybody. Paul, you are live on the stream.
You made it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing. Oh, brilliant. All right. Well, look, I'm going to head back. So,
Yeah. Are you going to join us later?
Yeah. What time is it in the UK now?
It's, well, believe it or not, it's an hour behind where you are, Paul.
8:42.
I don't know if it's an hour or two. Right. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. So I will. I'll be there in half an hour, something like that.
We look forward to it, my friend. See you soon.
All right. See you in a minute. Bye.
There you go. Live production meeting for you, ladies and
Excellent.
Right, Jeff Cook, Reed P90s and Trem. I put a pair of Lindy Fralin hum-cancelling P90s into a US Strat using a Warmouth pickguard, and it's armed with a Vega Trem. DIY is a good option. It's a great shout. What was it? The Squire. I've immediately forgotten the model that you found, Lee.
Paranormal.
Paranormal. I was going to say Mischief Maker. That's an entirely different model, isn't it? Yeah, the Paranormal. If it's Squire sort of investment level, I would be inclined to do as Jeff has done and have a bit of fun. If you are sort of handsy and inclined to go that way, or if you've got a nice guitar tech who'll do it for not crazy money, perhaps. Thunder, hi guys, just bought a Tonex. What multi-effects would you pair with it? I have a Katana 2 100-watt head and cab. Is that sufficient? Mostly bedroom playing and recording. How would you do that? How do you turn off the amps in Katana to still use the effects with your Tonex?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Maybe you could do that with the software, the Tone Studio software. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're only using, I tell you what would be a good buy. If you can get hold of one of the Ampero Minis,
Okay.
so made by Hotone, however you say it. There's a model called the Ampero Mini. I bought one last summer actually, and Paul and I discussed it on the channel.
Yeah.
We just weren't really enamored with some of the amp modeling in it, but it does everything else brilliantly. So, all effects, time-based effects, and chorus and delays and reverbs are all very nice. It even does IR hosting if you need it, obviously. So yeah, that coupled with a Tonex, that could work well. Nice.
Yeah. Or just go the other way and get an Eventide H90 for $1,000.
Well, indeed. If money's no object, go for it. Buy two.
Yeah. Wet, dry, wet with different H90s going into different sites. That'd be brilliant. There you go, Thunder. You've got bargain basement right through to money no object options there. Clinton Thompson is asking, what headphones do you like best for playing guitar with the aux box? Presumably he's referring to your aux Stomp.
I've not used it with headphones. Apparently you can get like a Y cable to plug into both outputs, and it comes through to the headphones. So it's not very loud apparently, but no, I haven't tried it, I have to say. Most of the time when I'm practicing at home or jamming or whatever I'm doing, I've got my Mac switched on, I've got the interface there, and I just plug everything into the interface. And of course the interface has got a headphone out. Sure. What headphones have I got? I've got a selection here. So I've got a Bose pair, I've got a Sony pair, I've got some in-ear monitors as well that I go out and play live with. I don't place an awful lot of importance on these things because headphones for me are just a means for tracking, really. I don't really need to listen to anything in great detail while I'm tracking. Especially if I'm tracking at night, because I would have decided on my sounds earlier through my monitors.
Right.
Save the patch in the GT1000. I think, right, well, I could track that later when everyone's gone to bed, and I can do it through headphones or whatever. I know some people. It just depends what you're used to, really. If you're the kind of person that places great importance on headphones, I've always thought that Sennheiser headphones are very good. Bose headphones I've always found to be very good. Those are probably the two makes that I would lean towards.
Yep, fair play. Nectaris is back in. Is there anywhere in the world a more beautiful instrument than a Gretsch hollow body with a nice flame top and gold hardware? If that is the hill upon which you are going to place your flag, Nectaris, good for you, mate. It's not a bad shout, is it? Not a bad shout at all. Dave McQuillan is in. Dave, my that way. Everything's backwards. One of your plectrums is over there. I can't reach it because it's on the other side of the room, I'm afraid. But for those, have you got one?
I haven't got any Highland plectrums.
Well, that needs
I
to
might
be
have to go.
remedied, doesn't
I
it?
know. I'll have to go and check
Dave
these
needs to have a
out.
word.
I will. I'll have to go and check them out. I
Oh,
just use these. I just use these horrible grey things.
to box, fair play. Jazz 2 for me, red or black. I find that the red is it's a much brighter tone, and the black is obviously a darker tone. Dave is a silver tongued chap. For a second there, I thought that Paul and James asked their younger brothers to stand in for the evening. God bless you, David. If everybody would like to go on Reverb and have a look at his Highland Plectrum Company, that would be jolly good. Nick Harris is back. Out of curiosity, what is your relationship with Paul and James? Friends, bandmates, colleagues? In my case, I would say all three in the case of James, and 1 and 3 in the case of Paul. And I've been well, in fairness, we played the Bournemouth International Centre 4 years ago, very briefly, as a 3-piece with a backing track into the equation. So yeah, all three for me. I first played a gig with James in 2002, the year I bought my telly, and I was depping for the band that he was in at the time, The Talent, as I'm sure he's referred to on this channel before, and then met Paul after the Rats had begun, and the three of us have got a little Experiencing the Rats WhatsApp group, which on occasion wakes me up in my marital bed. So yes, definitely friends. Yeah. What about you? How did you meet the guys?
So I just started watching the channel. I found it during lockdown, actually.
Yeah.
And I think it might have been one of these Q&As
Okay.
that I started to watch. And they started to just talk about interesting stuff, as we all know that they do. So, and James used to post the link. So a few times I actually went on and talked about stuff. And then Paul said to me just out of the blue one day, I'm going to be moving down to your area. So, oh, right, okay, because he used to live in Surrey somewhere, didn't he? And so Paul moved. Paul now lives probably about, in the car, it's about 25 minutes away from me. Yeah. So, I've been going over to Paul's place, and he's been very graciously allowing me to, help him out with a few videos, and which has been really good fun. And it's great reading everyone's comments and, watching the videos back and, seeing my big fat ginger frame sat there next to his slim athletic self,
Yes, shiny. Yes,
yeah.
I'm amazed he can hold on to the guitars. The amount of creams and man sculpting things that he puts on himself. But there we are.
So it's just, I would say that me and Paul are just mates, really. We've not ever played a gig together or anything. We've actually done some recording together recently because Paul is actually on my new album. So we've done some recording together recently, which was good fun. But James, I've only met James a couple of times. I think I met him at the London Guitar Show last year when him and Paul were there. So yeah, just a mate, I'd say. Yeah.
Away we go. Nice. Pet, I developed this terrible muscle strain in my. I wondered where he was going here. In my forearm from attempting some Brett Mason fast chops. Any similar injuries, a la things guitar related, to share?
Yeah, definitely.
Relax is the first thing to say, Pat. It's counterintuitive, but you'll play those things faster if you are relaxed rather than all tense and horrible. As a student playing cello, I used to get terrible shoulder ache. Hospitalized myself at one point. It was ridiculous, just from poor posture trying to play this hulking great wooden box. But then I started doing Alexander technique, which is all form and relaxation and muscle control and such like, and that helped. And I applied those same principles to guitar. Although strangely, I'd kind of figured that out in my teens when I was trying to play ridiculous Steve Vai chops, Nuno Betancourt stuff as a mid-teenage. I found the times when I was not really thinking about it, or when I had a couple of beers and I was relaxed. I was like, this is easier when you don't try hard, as it were. So yeah, just relax is the counterintuitive tip that I would suggest. Nothing more scientific than that. What about you?
Yeah, so I tend to get this thing when I'm gigging where how can I show it on screen? So you're playing like this.
Mm-hmm.
Get a guitar, really. There is one right here.
One to hand.
So so you're playing guitar, or I'm playing a solo or whatever, and I get a tightness here in this part of my forearm.
Yeah.
And I can only kind of say it happens when I feel that I'm pressing too hard.
Right.
I'm pressing too hard, and I press too hard for two reasons. Paul is going to cringe if he's watching this, but I press too hard for two reasons. Number one, there isn't enough gain. Or number two, I can't hear myself for whatever reason. Maybe one of my in-ears has popped out or something, or maybe I've taken one of them out or whatever. Yeah. So, and I find sometimes that if I'm kind of experimenting with a different sound, because sometimes, it is good to go on a gain diet, and sometimes I might, program a patch in my whatever I'm using to use less gain. But I always end up playing, I'm pressing too hard here because there isn't enough gain. I've talked about this in the past where I feel as though I'm wringing the guitar's neck to get it to, sustain or to get some fluidity out of it, and it's just not happening. So I just end up turning the gain up and readjusting my volume levels, and then I'm usually okay. But the first time it happened was about a year ago, and it was the last song in the first set. And I literally came off stage on that first set with my hand like that.
Wow!
And it wouldn't move. I couldn't get these fingers to actually kind of unfurl like this. It was really strange. And then that was after I'd finished playing Purple Rain, and then I realised that I had Freebird to go in the second set, so I better loosen up.
Yeah. Downed half a bottle of vodka and got on with it. Fair play. On the subject of trying to get notes to sustain and such like, I used to prepare for recordings by playing electric parts on acoustic and trying to get notes to bloom and grow and what have you, and really ring out or sing out by just focusing on technique of if the acoustic instrument will do it, then when it's got the assistance of pickups, gain pedals and all the rest of it, it's got a far better chance. So yeah, maybe give that a go as well. Hope it's not too serious, Pet. But yeah, take it easy. I suppose another thing might be just double check, do a sense check on, is your playing position correct, or because you're trying something new from Brent Mason, and let's face it, I'm talking to a fellow mortal, with Lee here. I think James would accept that the three of us are similar players compared to the standard that Paul is. Just phenomenal. But you look at the way that he holds himself when he plays, it's all under control. It doesn't look like he's trying hard, does it? Are you trying these new chops that Brent is suggesting to you on whatever source you found, and you kind of hunched over the instrument and giving yourself no chance because your shoulders are up and tight, your neck's tight, your arms, all the rest of it? Just do a basic sense check of how do I normally sit when I'm playing things that I know and I'm comfortable with against what I'm trying to do here with Brent Mason, because he's from a different planet. Funky Bass, hello everyone. Paul and Jivey are looking different today, very dashing. You're terribly kind, Funky, and the check is in the post. Joe has had a couple of comments here with regard to, I presume, Nectarius' missus. I mean, she's right, but do it anyway. Absolutely. He wants it because he wants it. You're absolutely right. Hang on a minute. There's not a word of warning. Look at this. If I just go a bit closer and
couple of beers have been had. A couple of beers have been had, and I'm ready for bed. Honestly, just the worst journey of my life.
Really? What's gone off?
It was like I got up at 6. No, left at 6 and then arrived here at it's like 12 hours to get like a couple of 100 miles.
What? You could have walked it quicker.
I could have swum.
British Rail, wasn't it?
No, British Rail and Lufthansa. That's it. Lufthansa are no longer a sponsor of the Studio Rats channel.
Yeah, you tell them, mate. You tell them.
Yeah,
but you've arrived and you've had a beer.
Yeah, I've had a beer or two.
Fair play. Well, look, I'm gonna join you. I've not only got this
exquisite
in the house.
Nice. So what's been going on? What have I missed?
Just been taking the Michael out of you and James for not organising your own live stream properly.
We don't organize. It's literally everything's done by the seat of our pants.
That's which the viewing public have absolutely nailed right from the get-go.
They've cottoned onto it now. Yeah. Well, we've had a chat about Rob Chapman and his latest direction.
Okay, it's another endorsement we've lost then.
Yep.
Well, it's all right. All those high-end UK built guitars are just going to end up on the in the skip, I think.
Shame, isn't it? It's a shame. They are really good guitars. They are really good. They're really good. They're like, you know, sort of quality guitars, but it's just like too overpriced for Chapman, isn't it? But anyway,
there we are.
Has he released some more then? Has he released some more? Is that what's happened?
No, they're just talking about the fact they moved all of the line, or the only line now is going to come out of India rather than anywhere else in the world.
Is that what's happening? Wow.
Yeah. There we go.
I mean,
Anyway,
he's simplified and changed everything. Yeah.
Enough about Chapters. These people have come to hear what's going on with you. You are in Germany for what reason, Mr. Drew?
So we're doing the 42 Gear Street Hennings event.
Right.
And
how does it go for? Who do you expect to see?
So there's what's going on. There's a bunch of brands here. There's Laney Orange, Ortega Birch. Got some brands that I haven't heard of, and there's some brands I'm missing. Sennheiser.
Two Notes.
Two Notes. No, I don't think Two Notes are here. I don't know. I mean, literally, I've turned up. We've gone out for something to eat.
Yep.
And everything starts tomorrow, so I'm a little bit unsure about what is going on, but I know that I've got to start at 9 o'clock. So
there we are.
Yeah.
Who was at dinner? Anybody that the viewers might know?
Who was at dinner? So so a couple of us went off to different places. Yes, Glenn Fricker's here. Okay. Obviously, Hennings here. I'm trying to think of all the bigger YouTubers.
KDH?
No, KDH hasn't come. I'm not sure KDH's ever been to this event. I will. I mean, I haven't seen everyone. Like, literally, I arrived, and then a few people have gone off to.
What about Friedman? Is Dave Friedman there?
No, Dave. No, Friedman aren't here. I know Henning does a lot of work with Boutique Amp Distribution, the people that make the Friedman amps. They might be. Maybe they are. I haven't seen the name, but literally, I've turned up and I'm telling you all the stuff that's going on, and I haven't got a clue what's going on.
Brilliant.
So, in essence, you're going to get yourself a good high protein breakfast in, and then try and do 12 hours of talking to people tomorrow night.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's lots of video content and stuff that gets made tomorrow.
Yeah.
Lots of video content. So no, it's brand day tomorrow actually. So all the brands. So basically, what happens is the brands can pay extra to basically have us for a certain amount of time, and then the brands have I think it's 3-hour slots.
Right.
And then the brands sort of come in, and then they drag you in to sort of do some content.
Mm-hmm. Is it going to be the case that there's going to be actual new product announcements?
Yeah. So there already are some new products which I think you would like. Definitely. That there's some stuff we definitely can't talk about due to NDAs and stuff. Ooh. There's some definite stuff that Lee would like, which means it's got a lot of gain on it. Yes. There's a bunch of new products that the videos can't be released until a certain time.
Yeah.
And there's other products that are,
because that's the thing that I always enjoy about the NAMM weekends. Always used to before COVID, is that NAMM weekend that kind of runs from Thursday to Sunday.
Yeah.
You end up not only hearing about all of the products via the NAMM show, but all of the companies themselves release their official videos. They kind of drip feed them out over that weekend as well. So it's kind of like a double whammy. You get the likes of Anderton's TV or whatever telling you about the latest so-and-so pedal or the so-and-so guitar or whatever it might be. But you also get the official video from those companies as well, because they tie in their product releases to the show. Yeah,
definitely. I think NAMM's really good like that because there is nothing that's under NDA.
Right.
So non-disclosure agreement to anyone that I'm doesn't understand that. So yes, we have to sign certain things to say we can't.
Yeah,
You know, we won't release this, otherwise,
Yeah.
you know, we'll get sued. I don't know
Yeah,
if it's ever
true.
actually happened, but we don't do it. But yeah, NAMM's great for that because all the products are out on one day, and then people go out and then you go and film it, and that's exciting, I think, as opposed to here. You know, you see something exciting, and then you go, well, actually, I can't talk about it until October, which is a bit frustrating. And there are a couple of products. There's a couple of really exciting things, I think, that I've heard about already. So that's good.
What are
You
they
know.
called?
Huh?
What are they?
Yeah, so they're there.
Are you
I
going to pitch
thought,
my
given you've
idea?
got a couple of days in you, we might be able to sneak something out.
Yeah, you might do. You might do.
I can't remember if we had this chat over live Q&A or whether it was just between you and I, Paul. But maybe you could pitch this idea about, you know, different YouTubers demoing different aspects of a product, like, you know.
Yeah, you talked about it last week.
Yeah, clean sounds, heavy sounds, you know, all that kind of thing goes out to different types of YouTuber who specialize in that kind of area.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I mean, I was at a I can't remember. I wish I could remember the name of the amp brand. But we were at dinner with the name of this amp brand, this
Marshall?
German amp brand. Yeah, I can't remember the
Engel.
name.
If it was German, Engel.
No, way more boutique than that. Way more boutique than that. And yes, and you can see all the more metal YouTubers. It's very sort of niched, isn't it? It's all very sort of. There's the metal guys, and then there's the rest of the people that sort of do a bit of everything, and you know, and but metal is very niche. It's like that's the YouTube channel. That's what we do, and I do not play anything that's, you know, can't play any John Mayer on that. But yeah. Apart from that, it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good. So start early tomorrow, and then it goes on till.
So you're based in a hotel, or
yeah,
is it based around Hennings' actual street?
At Hennings' house, yeah. So Henning owns this house, and now I think he's bought next door. I think it was like a semi, as we would call it in England. And now he owns the other side of that semi as well. I think he's got 3 big studios in there.
Wow.
So, and then you've got the garden, where obviously Henning spends most of the time in a hot tub.
Of course.
And yeah, I don't think he does a lot of work over the weekend apart from sit in that hot tub and just get wrinkly, that bald wrinkly man.
It's a strong look, as we know, Paul.
yeah. And yeah, so it's. I mean, I've literally just turned up, and it's all a bit of an onslaught of.
Yeah.
What's the organisation like in terms of getting you from your hotel to his street and all that? Is it all catered for? Is it all taken care of?
Yeah, as far as I'm yet to find out. To find out. I might be down there at 9 o'clock in the morning going, how do I get there?
Yeah.
Somebody
change your clock.
Somebody gives you a skateboard or something.
Yeah, 9 o'clock Central European time, not GB.
Yeah, it's all the same. It's all the same. That's why I have to ask you how far behind you are. So yeah. So I think I need to head off to bed and stuff. But is there any news? Any stuff going on? What's going on?
We've got some news that we're going to get to, and they're not too distant. I failed miserably in attempting to share my screen earlier, but I think I've found the fix. So I mean, it's 9:05. Do you want to stay with us for the news?
Yeah, definitely. Cool. I'm well up for that.
Right. Have you got a drink, Paul? Not that we endorse drinking.
I don't even know if the bar's open. How can you be in Germany and if you look over at the bar?
Was that John Petrucci over there?
Yeah, John Petrucci's here, Lee. John Petrucci. You got Steve Eyes here. No.
And you didn't invite me. I can't believe this.
Joe Satriani's getting in tomorrow in between Van Halen gigs. There we go. Right, look, I'm going to press the magic button and see if it works. Tell me if this happens or not. Can you see that?
No.
I can see it at the bottom.
Dear Lord.
So do you want me to I can enter stage by doing this.
Oh, something's happening. Oh.
Right, you've done it. So Paul managed to drive.
What's this?
So look, a week ago, I tried to tell the boys about this for last week's show, but they ignored me. A week ago at the Brisbane Pedal Party, Poly Effects got this little beauty out, which if I go to here and zoom that up a bit, that is the Poly Ample with You can see across the top, 6 different amp types there, plus bass, various different presets and the like. And if I just read the thing there, amp is true stereo. You can run different amps on the left and right channel. Great for bi-amp bass tones or wider guitar mixes.
This is the neural. This is the neural. Uses the neural modeling stuff, doesn't it?
Is it the same tech?
Yeah, not neural DSP, but neural. You know the software.
Right. So with the addition of this, you could now have, where am I hands wise? I can't tell which way this signal chain is going to go. You could have the flat 5, the Josh Smith distortion overdrive thing. You could have the Bebo, which is multi-effect. Then you could have the ample, and then you could have the reverb thing. Who have we got?
Big man's. What big man's?
The webcam is that you?
Yes.
How do you get it?
Fucking get Scots. You get Scotsman. You have to ask where the webcam is.
Sorry, I'm absolutely plastered.
Oh yeah.
No, zero. Still zero.
Keeping the end up for Scotland. Well batted.
You don't drink.
No, I've been off it since February.
Fuck.
Behaving myself, I'm going to be an absolute disappointment the whole week. How you all doing? Hello.
Oh, good, mate.
Scottish man that doesn't drink. What the hell?
This is the actual DSR live stream. I'm on it.
You're on it, mate.
Right, mate. You've arrived.
So we're doing the news. You want to join in?
In the news, go for it.
Yeah, come on.
There we go.
Do a better job than I would.
Brilliant.
So we're talking
Right.
about the new. So Steve's here. We're talking about the new. We're talking about the new poly pedal.
That's some nice knobs.
Go on.
Yeah, lots of nice knobs. Hello, Steve. Adventures in Gearland here. Nice to
I
see
know
you.
you, mate. I know you, Greg. How you doing, mate?
Lee,
Lee as well. Hello, Lee.
So look, we've got that one. What else? I clocked this for those interested in a budget option. I noticed John's playing one of these things. Essentially an SG for 229. I'm amazed you haven't done a video on this yet, Steve. What's going on, mate?
I know. I watched John Cordy's video of that this week as well. Fantastic. Eh? I've seen that for a while. I've been quite tempted. Stainless steel frets and all that jazz.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never really been
out of this
in
world.
SG, but
So and I've got two. I've got the Telecaster and a Les Paul coming from HB this week.
Right.
So
The thing about this one, it's got coil split as well.
Is it?
Yeah, it's got everything. 230 quid. It's mental. So yeah, if you're that way inclined to try it, dear viewer, Paul and James will put a link to Toman in the description, and then they'll get some money, which will be nice. Moving on.
yeah,
Got one of these coming as well.
they look
Brilliant.
really nice.
So Canvas has been around for a while, but the HP, you can now take your Quad Cortex, your Line 6, whatever else. It will power pretty much everything. So I think that's a pretty significant addition to their line.
And it's tiny by all accounts as well. Physically.
Yeah. So shipping as of tomorrow, if you're that
Nice.
way. And the Walrus boys from Oklahoma do great things, don't they? So they're worth
It's nice. And I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
It's about time that someone did something like this. That's great.
Yeah, all good. I clocked this afternoon when I watched the Gig Rig live stream. The guys on there said Earthquaker have dropped a new delay, which looks pretty tasty. Get a second's worth of delay, 155 quid, plenty of control, including an expression pedal input on the side. What have we got there? 6 preset slots.
Is it analog or digi?
Analog drive-through.
Yeah. Is the delay? Oh, it says down the bottom there. It's both analog, digital.
Oh, wow.
No, it says digital. Yeah, digital.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
So yeah, that's a bit intriguing as well. And then these, I thought these are right up your strata, Lee.
Yeah, they look nice, don't they?
Tasty. How much do you reckon?
Oh, probably $2,000.
Paul,
Yeah.
do you want to?
No, I reckon that's 3,599.
Steve?
I was saying 2.5, 3.
Okay.
2.8. Why not?
Here we go. It's down here somewhere. There we go.
$5,000.
And 11.
That's a lot. That's a lot of money.
I'll have to
For
sort
a
of,
can. for a guitar
I'll have
that
to.
looks like it's got a lot of slime on it. There we go. So there's them there. What else? I clocked this.
Nice.
You know, it's a distortion plus, but it's got Randy Rhoads connections because of the polka dots. Is it really
Right.
going to be that different?
Really? Is it just the appearance? Is there no?
I can't see anything that suggests it's any different.
They've done this sort of thing before. They've done this sort of thing before with a different sort of graphic and stuff.
Yeah, so I'm a bit cynical about that. Maybe the extra money is just because you get 2 sets of knobs. But, you know, I've got 2 sets of knobs on this channel now as well, now that you guys... Boom. And then the one that you guys are presumably going to have a look at Gear Street this week, surely Orange will have bought one of the Oriverbs. It's got a Celestian Neo Creamback and 4 ECC 83s or 12X X7s and 2 ECC 81s. So quite British, complete with a Celestian. And presumably Paul will get quite excited about it if Orianthe's actually there as well. And other than the fact that Paul and Steve and the rest of the guys are over there in Germany, that concludes the news.
Well, it's getting a bit noisy here, to be honest.
It is, yeah. Can you just tell everybody that there's something very important going on the internet and they need to calm down?
I don't think they give a monkeys, to be honest.
Is John Petrucci getting a bit leery there?
It's getting a bit mardy, isn't it?
Petrucci get a bit there. John Petrucci's not getting there. There's a lot of metal going on. That's all I can say.
Fair enough. Sounds. Should we just continue with the old questions then? We've got a fair amount to get on with here.
Go on then. I can. I think we stay around for a couple. If that's all right. On a sort of
Lee, Joe Griffiths.
Greg and Lee, you've done a fantastic job. Love it.
Love you, Steve. Checks in the post, mate. Joe Griffiths is asking Lee how you're getting on with your Sir.
Very well. I love it. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, I mean, I haven't played any other guitar really. I mean, I know I only spoke about playing the Harley Benton earlier, but in terms of gigging, serious gigging that I've done, I've not used any other guitar. It's absolutely fantastic. It's well molded into my hands now, definitely.
Yeah. Who would have thought it that if you buy a professional level instrument, you'll find yourself playing it almost non-stop?
What happens? That's why.
There we are. Jeff Cook, inspiration from gear. I wrote a surf song the day that I started using Tonex because one of the stock lent itself to that sort of style. The tune just fell out by itself. We were talking earlier, guys, about the fact that on occasion a new piece of gear will just give you a bit of inspiration and music just appears out of the blue. So Jeff's obviously on the same wavelength. He goes on to say, I've since decided that I don't really like that capture, but I'm pleased that it gave me the song, which has since been performed live by humans. Well, there you go. Funky bass. The only way to get rid of temptation is to yield to it, as Oscar Wilde once wrote. He reportedly had a room full of clones, dumbles, and bursts. Very good, Funky. We were talking about Nectarius trying to decide in his head whether or not he should tell his missus what gear he is or isn't buying.
By the way, Greg, if you click on the comment, it will come up at the bottom. So it will show on the screen.
It doesn't, mate. I've tried this. It's because we don't run it. It's with you.
Right, okay. I can't see where you are. So hold on.
We are at 0841. Where Nectarius is saying, inspiration-wise, I use neural DSP wins because I can play. Oh, there we go.
Hey,
it's the one before that, but there we go. I can play at night when the kids are asleep and they sound amazing too. I've used them for professional recordings too. All no problems. Sound. And then Jivey says, hello, home tomorrow. And then we've got... And the next one, Paul? Talking about gear to drive your interest. I got back into player 18 months ago after 25 years. One of the best gadgets I bought was a Fender Mustang Mini. Great little tool to have fun with. There's so many of them these days that do that kind of thing, aren't we? We are living in a golden age. Welcome back, and hope you're enjoying yourself, mate.
There we go.
Good. Keaton, evening all, bit late. Generally missing Wednesday evenings due to djembe lessons. Very nice too. Very nice too. Joe is suggesting HX Stomp to Thunder, who was asking about a multi-effects unit to go with, what was the amp he was buying? Was it a...
Well, he bought a Tonex. He bought a
That was it,
Tonex
it was
pedal and
Tonex.
asked about
Yeah.
what unit to use with the Tonex.
Yeah, so it stomp would work a treat, wouldn't it?
I suggested the Ampero Mini.
To which he has responded, thank you for the advice. Ampero Mini looks a great option I wasn't aware of. So that looks like a good call, Lee. Well done. Joe, a good relatively good budget for the Audio Technicas, ATH50X. We were talking about headphones as well, guys. Whilst you pick one, have either of you got a particular headphone of choice?
Bayer DT 990s, I think they're called, something like that.
Cool. Yeah, another one to investigate. Nectarius, do you believe that an expensive acoustic is that much better than a budget one? I can feel it's different when I play, but recorded, they all sound like an acoustic. I would.
What mic are you using?
yeah, quite. I would question whether or not they sound the same recorded, and I definitely think that an expensive acoustic or the better instrument reflected by the price is better than a cheap one. I've played one or two really cheap guitars that sounded nice, acoustic guitars that sounded nice at the time, but the nicest acoustic I've ever played cost £5,000. One of those. Keith, Joe, some of the Audio Technica stuff is great. Yeah, good. Pet Moxie's had a bit of an issue this week, Paul, and Keith's just what he's been up to.
Oh, bless him. He needs to lay off a little bit. Just lay off. Pet. Just give it a couple of days break. That's what we've got to do.
Have a week off, you'll be fine. Dave's very kindly saying to Lee, leave your address in the shop and he'll send you some samples, which is nice.
Oh,
a beer or two means three. He's seen right through me there.
Yeah.
Martin, relax and soft touch for long-term playability. Mainly play scallop necks now. Have you got to play lightly? You have got to play. Yeah.
Certainly, yeah. Otherwise, you go completely out of tune.
Be out of tune, yeah.
Yeah, there's none of that as well. A familiar hotel.
What's it called?
It's a travel lodge.
Come on, big man. What is it?
It's actually really nice. It's pretty swanky.
Well, it's swanky Scottish. Of course, it's swanky.
Yeah, it's swanky. It's super swanky. It's got a toilet.
It's got a toilet.
It's Henning Towers, is it?
Henning Towers. Yeah, Henning probably owns
I
everything.
can't remember what it's called.
I don't even. Where are we? Where are we?
We are near
Germany.
It's Weilburg. I'm reading it, but I think it's
Fieldberg? Something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I've got on a train.
A nice hotel.
It is nice.
Nice marble flooring here.
Yeah.
There we are. Probably not. Yeah. Okay. And the next one.
Let me get this right. So it's Jivey's got to that second week now, and he's starting to go. I want to get back into it. I've had enough.
Yeah, a little bit of that, I reckon. A little bit of that.
That was a journey. It was horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. How was your journey? It was worse for you, surely.
Kinda. So I got on a bus from Dundee to Edinburgh Airport, and it broke down within 10 minutes. And we had to get a second bus. But it was all right. Worked pretty well. And then I met Colin Scott at the airport.
Oh, nice. So that's
and we flew there, and then we got picked up from Caelan, but he was only like 2 hours late or something. But other than that, it's fine.
Nice work, mate. Nice work.
Done,
right, everybody wearing with the claps.
Thanks, Senator Wheelchair. Oh, cheers, Senator Wheelchair Pillow. Thanks, mate. He said, "Hi guys, put this beer in the beer fund." I need that because it's cost a fortune so far. Greg, where have you been, homie? Cheers from Colorado.
Nice to hear from you too, Senator Wheelchair Pillow. It always brings a smile to my face when I see that you get your comments read on the That Pedal Show stream as well.
Yes.
You've missed one out.
Have I?
Yeah, Funky Bass is saying, Paul, can we have a Glenn Frickle collaboration video with Jivey introducing him as our favourite Canadian?
I think James calls him. Where is he? He's not here. No, he's not here.
He wandered off.
No, he's not here.
That would have been nice.
Sweary shout.
There's a challenge for you tomorrow, then, mate.
There we go. We'll see. We'll see if we can manage that. Sorry, I'm interfering.
All right, I'll do it. Wife said I couldn't have another amp. Ha. Sorry, where are we? Had a Fender Super 6 reverb combo. Well, that Katana Gen 3 2x12 is a mirage in the corner there. Oh, well batted, Andy. Well,
it's a new coffee table.
And then just a gentle nudge to Mr. Drew. Can we have some more Katana Gen 3 content, please?
So I've got one more boss video to do, and that's on the artist. So yes, there'll be another how-to thing on that.
Nice. And then Keith's enjoyed himself tonight. Now that Steve's joined, well, I assume it's Steve's joined us, or have you just been waiting for long? Perhaps you've just been waiting this long, Keith, to go, what is that northern idiot talking about? I don't know. It's coincidental that Steve's here as well. Nectarius, Paul, watch out for Landon Bailey. Nice lad from Canada, really funny.
Yes, I've seen Landon. He was at another table actually. I was, but yes, I need to say hello.
Of Landon's channel.
Yes, there we go. So I think that's the end of the comments.
Look, you're starting to glitch. So all I'm going to do is share my screen once more.
Okay.
And
nice.
Say. Oh no, I can't do it. You've got to do it, mate. You've got to do it.
You've got to play.
Stupid comments of the week.
There we go.
It was a good one.
That was belting, wasn't it? Well, the one that I have been sent by illustrious leader is this. Angus has no reverb nor delay.
So this is down to a video that me and Lee did on the TC Jim's 45 pedal.
Yeah.
See, that wasn't the most stupid question. I mean, that was pretty stupid. Yeah, I don't care what Angus does or doesn't do. That's not the point of the video.
What sort of plectrums does Angus use?
Exactly.
I mean,
I even had because I played the Thunderstruck intro. They did a little. Someone said Angus picks every note. It's like, what the? Who cares?
Does he? Oh my god!
It's just not important. It's just not important.
Well,
related to that video.
Sell all my gear. I'm going to sell all my gear.
I noticed on Facebook Marketplace today there is a Jim's 45 that's now at £75. So since you two started advertising it, it's gone from 86 quid down to 75 quid.
No, 86 quid straight from Toman.
Was it?
Buy in the UK for 86 quid.
Well, the price is going down now that you two started saying how good it is.
Yeah, well, that doesn't.
That's the Lee effect. That is. If Lee's got one, it's worthless.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there we are. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, I assume that there is a lady somewhere in the viewing public because the YouTube algorithm monkeys data tells Paul that there is. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
2.16%.
There you go. You see, there you go. I think we shall draw proceedings to a close this evening. Thank you for bearing with us as we had a bit of a rocky start. It was nice of you all to get involved. I hope Nectarius manages to get all that gear organised. I hope, who was it that wanted a P90 guitar with a tremolo? Oh, good Lord. It was Music Git, wasn't it? I hope he sorts that. And I hope that Steve, Paul, and everybody else out there at Music Street have a wonderful time. And we look forward to seeing the videos in due course. Have fun. Have a safe trip back, the pair of you. And the original Rats will see you all same time, same back channel next week. Thank you very much. Good night.
Cheers, guys. Take care.